Hello, I know it's not Tuesday, but I'm coming at you with a tag today. I was tagged by Netty at Digging Books to do the DNF tag, and I did some digging and I found it wasn't the DNF tag, it was the How Do We Rate Our Books tag created by Emily at Novel Novels. The actual DNF tag was created by Scott and Nelle at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot maybe 3 years ago. I will be doing both sets of questions in this tag video. DNF stands for Did Not Finish in the booktube world. Did not finish means we started a book, I started Cryptonomicon, and I DNF'd it. I didn't finish it. Maybe I'll read it next year, but this year I DNF'd it. On Little Dorrit we got DNF. Can you tell me in the comments what does the DNF on Little Dorrit mean? It's not did not finish, it's a different DNF. Hello, my name is Jim. This is my channel, Books, Reading and Stuff. Starting with the How Do We Rate Our Books tag, the first prompt, which might have caused some of the confusion, is how often do you DNF and what makes you DNF? I DNF quite rarely, maybe once every couple of months. What makes me DNF is a number of factors. The book could be too long, which is why I DNF'd War and Peace. I was also very confused by all the characters. Or it's a book that I just couldn't get into and I don't want to waste my time on it, so I just put it aside and DNF it. Prompt number 2, do you rate books 1 star? I looked at this when I was rereading Catcher in the Rye because I'd originally rated Catcher in the Rye 1 star. On rereading, it's now a 4-star book for me. A reread after 40 years from the first read. So my tastes change and they evolve. The other 4 books I rated 1 star on Goodreads. Of the 1,475 books I've rated were Double Fault by Lionel Shriver. I loved We Need to Talk About Kevin, and I wanted to read another book by Lionel Shriver, and I read Double Fault and it was just awful. So I had 1 book at 5 stars and 1 book at 1 star. On the Road by Jack Kerouac. Too much drugs, too much alcohol, too much misogynism, and too much jazz. It's not my thing at all. What I Know by Andrew Cohen, which is a very watered down Nick Hornby, so dilute, it had no flavour at all, so 1 star. And Lord of the Flies by William Golding, which I won't be rereading. What is a 2-star book for you? A 2-star book for me is one that I did finish, but I didn't enjoy. I finished at 1 stars as well, but yeah, it's a book I really didn't enjoy. The Old Man and the Sea, was 2 stars for me. I found it really tedious. This one, Tis by Frank McCourt. I really liked Angela's Ashes. I really liked The Teacher Man, which is the 3rd book in the series, but the one in the middle, I didn't like it. The Valkyries by Paulo Coelho was a 2-star book for me. American Psycho was 2 stars. I found the violence too gratuitous and unpleasant. These are 2-star books for me. Is a 3-star book a good book for you? A 3-star book is usually one that's slightly disappointing. A 4-star book is a good book for me. 5. What does 4 stars mean to you? 4 stars is a book I enjoyed. Most of the books I read are 4 stars. This year I've rated 29 books 4 star, compared to 15 books I rated 5 stars, and 8 books I rated 3 stars. This year I've had no 2-star or 1-star books. Do you ever do half-star ratings? On Goodreads, they don't allow for half-star ratings, and that's where I rate the books I read. But in my notebook, occasionally I'll have a half-star rating. I rated Expatriate 3.5 because it seemed better than a 3 but not quite a 4. On Goodreads I rounded it up to 4 stars. There have also been a couple of 4.5 stars which were very good but not quite exceptional enough to be 5-star. These include Witch King by Martha Wells and The Bee King by Matilda Zeller this year. Do you rate books 5-star often? As I said, I've rated 15 books 5-star this year. 15 books out of 53 books I've read. So it's 1 book in every 3.5 books, or 2 books in every 7 books, I guess. What do 5-star books do to make you rate them that high? They're just really exceptional. I really enjoyed reading them. Some of the 5 stars this year, there was The Poppy War, R.F. Kuang, amazing world building, great characters, it's very intense battle scenes. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab has become one of my favourite writers. Sparkling Cyanide by Agatha Christie. For crime writers, I don't think there's a better crime writer than Agatha Christie for her type of mysteries. Stalin, The Court of the Red Tsar by Simon Sebag Montefiore. This is very well researched and quite easy to read for a historical book. Death on the Nile, again Agatha Christie. One Moonlit Night by Caradog Pritchard. This is a book translated from the Welsh, recommended by KD Books, and I loved it. Goodnight Mr. Tom, Michelle Megorian. This was chosen by the FOMO Book Club, who've chosen some wonderful books. Jamaica Inn, also from the FOMO Book Club by Daphne du Maurier. This is the best book I've read so far this year, in my opinion. These are my subjective views. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, another crime novel. The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. This was a reread. Clara and the Sun, Kazuo Ishiguro. And Tango Makes Three, the controversial children's book about the 2 male penguins who adopt an egg. And Silent Bones by Rachel Lynch. Rachel Lynch is a crime writer I only read for the first time last month. I've now read 2 of her books and I've got a 3rd one downloaded. She writes really good police procedurals. Has your rating of books changed over the years? With Catching the Rye, it changed dramatically. I can link to that video here, where on my first reading as a teenager, this was a 1-star book for me. I couldn't stand Holden Caulfield and his stomach problems and everything else. Rereading it now, 40 years later, I enjoyed it. I like the internal monologues. I like the juxtaposition of sorrow and humour. I understood Holden Caulfield more. He's got unprocessed grief for his younger brother who died from leukemia. Where do you record your ratings of books? I have these notebooks. This one's 1990. That doesn't have the ratings in, but I've recorded them somewhere else. Now, this is this year, 2023. You can see like the date I finish, the title of the book. A green dot means I've done a 1-minute review of it. The author, page count, genre, and the rating out of 5. 5 stars there. And it goes down. There's a good patch here where there's a lot of 5-star books. And I also record the rating on Goodreads. That was How Do We Rate Our Books tag. Now I'll be doing Gunpowder Fiction and Plots DNF tag. Number 1, do you DNF? Yes, I do. I think it's a very healthy practice. If you're not enjoying a book, why torture yourself with it when there's so many other books you could be reading? The third right of Daniel Pennack's Rights to the Reader is the right not to finish a book. Too many people have this idea that if they start a book, they have to finish. This may have come from their parents or from school. You don't have to finish it. Read something else. For most of us, reading is a hobby. It should be something enjoyable. If you're not enjoying it, don't give up on reading. Just find something more enjoyable to read. If you DNF, does it count towards books read for the month? No. If I DNF it, I don't count it, I don't rate it. It's just DNF'd. Is there a difference between DNF and just putting it down for a bit? I think it's all covered by DNFing. You can DNF something thinking you'll never read it again, which is fine. Or you can DNF it and think I might read it when I'm in a better headspace for that book. I DNF'd Cryptonomicon back in March. This was my choice for March of the Mammoths because it's about 1,000 pages. It's a hefty book. It weighs over 1 kilo, but I might read it for next March of the Mammoths. I didn't get very far with it, so I DNF'd it. What popular book have you DNF'd? Well, I've DNF'd War and Peace. It defeated me. Many people have read it. Many people have loved it. For me, it was too long and it had too many characters and I got too confused by it all. I have read Anna Karenina and I enjoyed Anna Karenina. What book do you wish you had DNF'd? Recently, none. If I wanted to DNF them, I did DNF them. Maybe in the past, some of my 2-star reads like Tis, I could have done without reading this. Do you ever reattempt to read a DNF? Has this ever been successful for you? I haven't, but I may try Cryptonomicon or War and Peace in the future. What do you do with books you DNF? If I DNF them, and I'm sure I'm not going to read them, I usually take them to the Tbilisi book swap and see if anybody else wants them. I took Asylum by Madeleine Roux to the Tbilisi book swap, and I've also taken The Black Book by Orhan Pamuk to the Tbilisi book swap because these are 2 books I DNF'd. Do you choose more or less risky titles because of your stance on DNF? I'm not quite sure what they're getting at here. I know the kind of books I like. I might try books outside my comfort zone, particularly if there's a readathon or something. But generally, most of the books I choose, I read the blurb. I have an idea that it's something that I'll like, or there's been a recommendation by another booktuber whose tastes match my own. Who do I tag? Well, I'll tag 3 of my favourite booktubers. I'll tag Jack at Spread Book Joy, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, and Willow at Books and the Bow. And you're tagged to do either one or the other or both of these tags, the DNF tag or how I rate my books tag. The choice is yours. Or you can choose not to do this, or maybe you've done these tags before, I don't know. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can like it below. This will help me with the YouTube algorithm, and I will see you on the next video.